having a wonderful, fantastic day in Rio today. We're still here in North Dakota, though, unfortunately. What do we have planned in today's episode?
Not sure what that means. Alright, well, yeah, we're not in Rio because we're safe. You know, all the people in Rio. Not the safest place to be right now. Well, there's like already gunshots and a couple people killed while they were down there, so yeah.
I hear the water has poop in it, unlike the Home Depot with the clear concrete hallways.
Yes. Okay. But yeah, we're here still in North Dakota. Today, talk about some teams in the NFL. Is it Super Bowl or bust? Do they have to win the Super Bowl this year or to be considered a successful year? And is their window shutting? But first, MLB trade deadlines finished up this week. A lot of action, going on leading up until a little bit past the deadline of 4 p.m. on the 1st. So we got some winners and losers from that. Basically, biggest winners for me. First off, Texas Rangers were able to get Jonathan Lucroy from the Brewers and Carlos Beltran from the Yankees, and they didn't have to give up Joey Gallo or Jurickson Profar, which are their top two prospects. They didn't get the starting pitching they need, but they still upgraded their offense. Pitching should be okay, should be enough to at least carry them. Yankees, they determined that they're going to be sellers. They're not going to compete this year, so they traded away Andrew Miller and Aroldis Chapman and Beltran, and they got several top 100 prospects to go along with it. Gleyber Torres, Clint Frazier, Justin Sheffield, and Dylan Tate. So they realized they're not doing anything this year, so they got a good haul for those two pitchers. So they're setting themselves up very well moving forward. Usually think Yankees spend a ton of money, buy their people. No, this time they're actually smart. They're building up their farm system, which will get them good for years to come.
The future.
And then, especially with today or this week, Mark Teixeira announced he's retiring at the end of the season, and then A-Rod was released today and then signed as a special assistant. What he's going to do, I don't know, but he's going to get paid good money to do it. But they're losing them, which they haven't been much help anyways. Indians, another big winner, got Andrew Miller. So that's going to really shore up their bullpen. They didn't get Jonathan Lucroy like they were hoping, but Lucroy vetoed that trade because he didn't want to go to the Indians for some reason. And then of course the Cubs, big winner. They needed help in their bullpen. That's exactly what they got with Aroldis Chapman, Montgomery, and then Joe Smith from the Angels. So they shored up that bullpen. And ever since the trade deadline, they've been playing very well. They won 6 straight, so that's going to be very, very helpful having that person come in the 9th and just shut things down. So those are my winners from the trade deadline. Anyone in particular stand out to you?
I'm surprised you didn't mention the Cubs.
I just talked about the Cubs.
Oh, must have been the Denny's Lumberjack Slam I had. Too much vibranium in it, OD.
Aren't even listening to me. Gee. Okay, who are the other people I talked about?
I talked about the Rangers and the Yankees and the Indians.
Alright, so I see you're paying attention, just not at the last point. So, anyone stand out to you, or just kind of...
I do think I was kind of disappointed when I heard the Yankees were kind of just giving up.
Well, they needed to. They weren't going to do anything this year.
I mean, my dad's a big Yankees fan, and he was kind of mentioning it before. He's a big Mark Teixeira fan, so he was kind of...
Well, Teixeira...
Felt like he needed to, but he was kind of disappointed when he heard he was hanging it up.
I mean, he hasn't played a full season in the past several years because he keeps getting hurt. So,
that's true.
And this is, his last year of his contract. No one's going to re-sign him. So, yeah, just hang it up, move on. A-Rod,
he hasn't been relevant in years.
No, he's just a shell of himself at this point. But Yankees still have him on for this year and next year, and it's like $20 million per year, and he's not going to give that money up. So
and he's an assistant.
He's going to be an assistant. He's going to play his last game Friday, and he's going to be a special assistant. He's going to get paid $20 million per year to be that assistant. So whatever that entails, he's got a pretty sweet gig right there.
Yeah, not like he's gonna go broke.
No, definitely not. And then
Doubtful.
some of the losers from the trade deadline. One, Houston Astros. They had started turning on. They were trying to catch the Rangers, and they made no moves.
Sorry, J.J. Watt. He's a big Astros fan.
When they needed help, they have several areas they could use help, and they did nothing. So they basically said, I think we can win with what we got, and I don't know if they do. So, I mean, they're playing better, but a lot of people around them upgraded, so it's going to be tough for them to do anything. Miami Marlins traded and got Andrew Kashner and Colin Ray. Colin Ray's hurt already. He was placed on the DL, so that was a waste. And then Andrew Kashner, who they gave up their best prospect for, mediocre at best. He's not anything special.
I'm gonna say it. So he's like Krispy Kreme donuts left on the stove, left out for
On
2
the
days.
stove?
2 days. Whatever. Just keep going. I lost my.
So he's like Krispy Kremes that are been sitting out for 2 days and are stale that you like to rub on your face.
That would be accurate. Yes.
All right.
Not on my face. I don't want to rub. I don't want to rub him on my face. The donuts, do not him his hands on
Yeah, we got
my
it.
face.
We knew.
Okay.
All right, and then finally, the biggest loser I think for me is the Pittsburgh Pirates. 2 games out of the wild card. They trade away their closer Melanson, another great reliever in Nice, and then Francisco Liriano. So they're basically waving the white flag when they're only 2 games out. They could have gone out and got some help, but no, they traded away people. Even Liriano came out yesterday and said that he was surprised that the Pirates are giving up when they have a good team. So why they decided to be sellers when they're only 2 games out of a wild card spot is beyond me. I don't really get what they're doing there.
Should try to get players so they can make that push.
Yeah, and it's not like they got a whole lot in return for any of them. So I mean, their window is kind of closing. I mean, Andrew McCutchen he's been doing great. Has a really down year this year. So I mean,
I thought he was an early start of the season MVP candidate or something like that.
He's been bad basically all year. I mean, he got benched for an entire series this past week. Just trying
He's
to
a
give him
shell
a
of
break.
what he used to be then right now.
Right now, yeah, and they're not really sure what's going on. I mean, yeah, he's done some different things with his swing, but he is just
Not impressive.
Yeah, no, I mean, hitting in the low 200s, just not coming through. So, the rest of the team is still really good. So they could have made a run, but they just decided to give up apparently and just concede this season. So yeah, I don't really understand it, but that's why they're on the losing side of the trade deadline and not on the winning side. And they're probably going to be on the losing side at the end of the year and not in the playoffs for the fourth. Would have been the 4th straight year, but doesn't make any much sense to me. Yes, but then speaking of winners, Super Bowl or bust this year. There's a few teams where
There's a few teams out there that this might be their year. They might all still be together.
Yeah, it might be their year, whether it's, they finally have the team they need, or this is basically our last chance. There's a few teams out there like that. Who do you have where it's like this year, Super Bowl or nothing?
So I have the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
Just because, Carson Palmer, he had a great year last year, but then you got Larry Fitzgerald there. Just saying, they're getting old right now, and
They did give both Palmer and Fitzgerald another year extension.
And that's the other thing too, and who knows, they did sign Tyrann Mathieu to that big contract deal, but you mentioned the other players that they have on that team. This could be their last chance for Fitzgerald and especially Carson Palmer to kind of, revitalize his career, that he's not just a one-trick pony or something, if you want to say
Well,
it.
he's played well. It's just he hasn't been able to get to the Super Bowl. I mean, he's got to the playoffs a couple of times, and he's won some playoff games. But yeah, he just hasn't been able to reach the Super Bowl. Larry Fitzgerald has been to the Super Bowl when Warner was there,
Right.
but obviously they got beat by the Steelers.
They didn't win it.
So yeah, but both of them are coming towards the end of their career, so it's kind of a last ditch effort. Because obviously once Palmer and Fitzgerald leave, the Cardinals are going to be irrelevant for a while until they find another quarterback.
They'll just have the defense, and that'll about be it.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, I'm with you there on the Cardinals. Another team, it seems like you say this every year, but the New England Patriots Just because you.
Oh yeah, Manning's retired now. So how many more years does Tom Brady have left in the tank?
He just turned, I think, 39.
Yeah.
So how many years does he have left? So there, but then he said every year.
Then he shatters records again.
Yeah, he plays like he's
stupid.
He plays like he's 26, 27.
Exactly.
You just keep thinking like, how much more time does he have? But he always seems to have the fountain of youth. So we'll see.
He got those Krispy Kreme donuts, those glazed ones with the fountain of youth out of the conveyor belts
From
Krispy Kreme at the Home Depot.
There you
aisle
go.
27.
That's what I was trying to lead you into. Is Home Depot.
They don't sell donuts at Home Depot. If they did, I would be there every day, all day. I might even work there. Maybe I'll even buy some sod there. Some cedar.
Then you'd have some diabetes. All those donuts.
It's okay. I'm accepting it. If it's Krispy Kremes, they're off the conveyor belt. Why not?
Krispy Kreme is worth the diabetes.
Yeah. Why not?
Alright, cool. Whatever. So besides the Cardinals and Patriots, what other teams out there?
I have the Green Bay Packers. I do. I honestly do. Just because I remember the year when they had Donald Driver and the Niners beat them in the playoffs that year, and Rodgers you could tell just kind of having a heart-to-heart with Driver saying, sorry, I couldn't get you over the hump, Rodgers is a stud, yes, but how many years does he have left? They've gone to the playoffs consecutive years, but they haven't been able to get, to the NFC title game again, and I have a ton of Packer friends at work.
They were just in the NFC title game 2 years ago. When they got beat by the Seahawks, and the Seahawks went to play the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying, though. And there's Packer fans that are saying that. I was like, well, they were just there a few years ago. And he's like, nope. This year, bust or nothing. Super Bowl or bust.
With the Packers, yeah, that's, it's, you want them to get to the Super Bowl because that's what their expectations are.
Right.
Now, they still have a few more years with Aaron Rodgers playing at a high level. So, it's, with them, it's, basically staying healthy. Is Jordy Nelson going to come back 100%?
Is Eddie Lacy going to play like the Eddie Lacy of old? He lost all these pounds.
Yeah, so we'll see how well he plays.
You want to see what he does on the field.
And then can the defense finally do something, So with them, yeah, it's going to be a matter of health and just playing up to their potential. And, it's going to be, they're going to have a tough road with, if they make the playoffs. They're going to have to play, the Cardinals, who I think that was my Super Bowl pick, was the Cardinals.
They'll have to play the Panthers again, probably.
Probably. Well, yeah, depending on seeding, they might have to. They might miss them depending on how, the seeding goes and everything.
Gets laid out. The Packers will definitely make the playoffs again. Just how deep? I don't know. So who else you got?
Other than those three teams right there, and as far as like Super Bowl or bust, you think the Panthers, they're
they lost in an impressive way last year.
Yeah, and their thought is we need to get back to the Super Bowl and we need to win it this year because last year they made it and they got just hammered. So yeah, their thought is we got to get back there. We got to get that bad taste out of our mouth, and anything less than that is going to seem like a failure to them.
They would probably be, I'd say they'd be tied with number one probably with the Cardinals for Super Bowl bust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because a lot of people said last year, we don't have Kelvin Benjamin. Well, he's healthy this year, so that's not going to be an excuse.
No.
And you guys didn't re-sign Josh Norman, so I don't want to hear about that.
No, and apparently Josh Norman hasn't looked very good in Redskins camp.
Are you surprised about that? I'm not too surprised.
Not really, but yeah, apparently Deshaun Jackson has just been lighting him up in camp. So
Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah,
he hasn't been relevant since the Eagles.
So yeah, we'll see how well that signing works out. Is it just training camp thing and his feet underneath him, or is he just really that bad? So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. AFC, I think maybe another Super Bowl or bust team that no one really thinks about being that is not really the Colts, the Steelers.
I was going to say them, but I didn't know because Le'Veon Bell's still young and Antonio Brown's young.
Well, Le'Veon Bell is young, but he's possibly facing a 4-game suspension. Antonio Brown, he's getting upset about his contract. So is that going to leave a sour taste in his mouth at the end of the year? He bolts. Roethlisberger is getting
He's
old.
getting old.
So
I could see that as a
how many years
one.
do they have with Roethlisberger left? So I mean, that's the big thing is the quarterback situation.
Yeah, if he gets hurt this year, they're going to be like the Cowboys. They have no good backup. No one.
No, and their defense isn't what it used to be. It's not that lockdown defense that they used to have.
Steel curtains of old.
No, so I mean, yeah, if Roethlisberger gets hurt, or if he just like I said, he's getting old. So how many more years does he have left in him? So yeah, their window is closing. So they have to really take advantage of that. But I mean, other than those teams, I don't know. Do you think the Colts is a Super Bowl or bust? I really don't think so.
I don't think so. I would have said probably the year when they beat Peyton Manning and the Broncos in the playoffs when Luck was playing really well. I would say that year, but
And this year with Luck coming off of an injury, I don't know if it's really Super Bowl or bust. It's more like let's see how well he comes back playing
Frank
after that
Gore
injury.
had his worst career ever last year with the Colts, and they got rid of Andre Johnson. They still have T.Y. Hilton. Their defense,
Yeah, it's never really been that good.
They have a few players that are good in spots, but
Yeah, but I mean, it's nothing
Hasn't
really,
been
nothing
like a
offense
top-
fears.
right. Yeah, it's not a top-ranked defense or something.
No. But yeah, I mean, those are really the only teams I think that it's like Super Bowl or fail. Everyone else, you kind of,
They're like, oh,
they have like either an excuse for or just didn't have that high expectations. But yeah, with those teams right there, basically, Steelers, those 5 teams: Steelers, Patriots, Packers, Cardinals, and Panthers. Those are the ones really, Super Bowl or.
And you feel bad for it. It's not really all that fair to Green Bay, I guess, because last year, can't believe I'm defending the Packers, but last year they weren't healthy. Aaron Rodgers didn't look like the Aaron Rodgers of old.
No, I mean, you can tell he missed Jordy Nelson.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, they weren't healthy, but you never want to use that excuse because everyone deals with injuries.
Right, everybody gets hurt all the time.
Yeah, I mean, look at, the Steelers, Roethlisberger was hurt a good majority of last year. So, I mean, people have injuries. You just have to, can you overcome them? Can that next person step up? Where, in the Packers' case, their wide receivers did not step up.
Right.
No one stepped up and took that number one receiving
Cobb was
lead.
not comfortable being the number one.
No, so I mean nobody stepped up. So you hope this year.
Devontae couldn't catch.
Nope.
It's like he had Krispy Kreme glazed donuts on his gloves.
That makes your hands sticky. So actually, that probably would have helped. He should have eaten some Krispy Kreme donuts before he went out there to get that glaze on his gloves stick. So.
NFL players, take notes. Don't use to buy the gloves. Just eat glazed donuts.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens this year with the receiving core. Jordy Nelson stays healthy and see if they can return back to that, form of old. And plus, last year, McCarthy tried giving up the play calling duties. That didn't work well at all. So this past week, he was asked, "Would you do that again?" He said, "No, not a chance of giving that up again." Which, yeah, it makes sense because the offense looked bad when he, gave up the play calling duties. So, it's going to be, like I said, it'll be interesting. Panthers don't have an excuse this year with Benjamin coming back.
No.
Cardinals don't have an excuse.
No.
Patriots, they can say, "Oh, we lost Tom Brady for 4 games."
It's the next man up though in the Belichick campaign.
Oh yeah, that's what he
coaches.
preaches.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Patriots, sort of, they'll have that built-in excuse. But one, I still think they'll be in those 4 games. They'll be fine. Those 4 games are not going to affect them making the playoffs.
No. They get Brady back for the last part of the season.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm guessing my predictions are probably going to go 2-2 in that 4-game span, which is all they need to do. It's all you need is just keep your head above water in those 4 games. And I think they'll go 2-2, and then when Brady comes back, he's going to be ticked off. He's going to play out of his mind.
Probably win the rest of their games for all we know.
I would say after that, they'll probably go. I'd predict the rest of the games they'll go 10-2, finish with a 12-4 record.
Accurate.
So I mean, like I said, he's going to come back mad, and he's going to want to stick it to the NFL again.
Again.
Yeah, and then like I said, the Steelers is not really so much. It's just their window's closing, so they have to.
They got to try to do something.
Take advantage while Roethlisberger's there now.
Yep.
As opposed to a couple years where Who knows where he'll be? Who knows how he'll be playing? So it's going to be a tightening up window, but yeah, otherwise, every other team's have some sort of excuse or don't have that high expectations.
Rebuild.
Some people may say the Cowboys, actually. I mean, because that window is like slamming shut.
Oh yeah, you don't know if Romo's going to be healthy for a season, and Dez with his surgeries and whatnot.
Yeah, Jason Wentz coming to the end of his career. You know, you got to think they only have like maybe another year. You know, if not making the class before Jason Garrett's ousted. You know,
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Romo, you don't know if he's healthy or not, but he's getting older too. And then, you know, he's been injury prone, so they're gonna have to start thinking about getting another quarterback. So I mean, that time frame.
Theirs is probably shutting the fastest out of any of those teams.
Yeah,
we're
most
talking
likely,
about,
so.
Probably.
But then again, this year I don't think anyone really expects them to win
No,
the Super Bowl.
I don't.
So yeah, I mean, that window is just right about shut for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'd love to hear your thoughts about who's going to be, you know, who do you think Super Bowl or bust? Who do you think winners and losers are from the trade deadline? Hope you guys are all enjoying the Olympics, because we sure as heck are. Go Team USA. Hopefully get some more golds out of there.
Wakanda.
USA, not Wakanda.
Oh, they were in the opening ceremony though.
They weren't.
They were.
They weren't.
You didn't see the Black Panther flag? It was only like 2 athletes, so it was really tiny.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that.
Okay.
So yeah, no,
Whatever.
go USA, not Wakanda.
Yes, USA.
Yes.
With the splash of Wakanda.
Go USA. Leave some comments below. Again, like our Facebook page, subscribe on YouTube. Love to hear comments, ask questions. We'd love to answer those.
Krispy Kremes. Home Depot.
Krispy Kremes.
Conveyor belts.
Yes, what he said. So everyone, have a good night. Go Team USA.